Welcome to Aphra's Artifacts, where we do some archaeology of our own and dig into the queer side of Star Wars. I'm your host, Alia Morgaine, and it's so great to have you here. Well, today, y'all, this is a good one. Okay, we're still talking about Queen's Hope by EK Johnston, the amazing young adult novel that takes place around the very end of Attack of the Clones and then a little bit beyond that. We get a non-binary character who talks about your feelings, about your relationship with being non-binary. We finally get it, y'all. I'm so excited. Like, EK Johnston is a freaking mastermind. She is fabulous. So it's not super in depth, but we still get it. And that is more than I can say for the vast majority of non-binary characters that we have gotten so far in Star Wars. So, who are we talking about? We're talking about Tepoh. T-E-P-O-H. Tepoh. She is Saché's new aide, and she came recommended by Dorme through a separate interview process where they were trying to find new handmaidens for Padme as a senator. So Saché is talking to Tepoh and says, "What made you want to be a handmaiden?" So still thinking like this. So Tepoh interviewed to be one of those handmaidens of Padme's as a senator. But Dorme was like, you know what? I think G would work better with Saché as her aide. And so Saché is asking zher, what made you want to be a handmaiden? In other words, what made you want to do this interview process with Dorme in the first place? So Tepoh responds with, I didn't necessarily. I mean, I didn't know it was a possibility. I thought they were only looking for girls. And Saché thinks, they had been looking for girls when Saché was hired, but if someone was willing to play the part sometimes, it didn't really matter what gender they identified as. It would be a job, a disguise. Y'all, the fact that that phrase was in this book, gender they identified as, that, oh my god, like, I'm so excited about this character. Okay, so in regards to your expression of gender identity, Tepoh says, sometimes I wake up and I want to be perceived as some degree of female, but sometimes I don't. I love that. This just being real open and honest about it. Like, sometimes I want to be kind of female and sometimes I just don't. And that's how Tepoh relates to your gender. So a couple of examples of like outfits. So from a flowing green skirt to dark black trousers and a silver blazer with matching embroidery. Pretty cool. And then on being a handmaiden for Queen Amidala, so when Padme was queen, Saché is thinking about and discussing with Tepoh how it might have worked if Tepoh had been a handmaiden for Padme as queen. So Saché is saying that they dressed the way they did to disappear in plain sight. Perhaps Senator Amidala would have wanted you to disappear in other ways that made more sense to your character. Tepoh says, I think I would have enjoyed it. Maybe they would have let me wear a guard uniform sometimes. Those are quite dashing. Oh, I'm like fangirling over Tepoh. And then Saché says, there's a lot to be said for being yourself. Not everyone is meant to be a shadow. Oh my gosh. It's just too good. And then not only is there is this character really discussing your gender identity, but also your work ethic and logistical abilities is freaking through the roof. So this character is like super able to be looked up to and like a model character. So Saché says, honestly, I don't know how I got by without zher. The travel here to Carolinas alone was much more organized than usual, and my things were all packed before I knew I was leaving. And then she is also very quick and responsive. It says, the narrative says, Saché turned and found her aide already holding the official legislative recording device she was about to request, along with her personal data pad and stylus. And then Tepoh was taking notes at near light speed on your data pad. And then lastly, about Tepoh, always had a seemingly inexhaustible number of pockets, and was able to store and monitor all of your devices, as well as Saché's, while they worked, freeing Saché up to engage completely with the other delegates. It was a very efficient system. Saché hoped G never planned to quit. So, wonderful work ethic, a great character, very open about how G feels with your gender. I love this character. I want more of this character, and I know we're probably not going to get more of Tepoh. But I will say I could easily reread Queen's Hope with no problem. And I don't reread books. So this stuff is good. Highly recommend it. Please read this book. But anyway, that's all really I have for Tepoh. There's not too much, but there's enough to show that Star Wars is finally getting comfortable with real, raw discussions about gender identity. And that makes my heart so happy. So, comment down below on what you think about Tepoh. What do you think about this amazing new character? And be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter at AliaMorgain, and peruse my blog at thestarwarsreview.blogspot.com. May the Force be with you.